I think the SOCKS proxy is one of the coolest features of Cobalt Strike and Beacon because it really allows you to expand on the tools and the tradecraft that you're able to leverage. So to start a SOCKS proxy, in a beacon you just type SOCKS and then a bind port. So let's say 1080. And this will actually bind that port on the team server. So 1080 is here. And the idea is that any network traffic that is proxy aware that hits this port on the team server gets tunneled through this beacon here and then into the internal network. A beacon can only transfer information like whilst it's checking in. So the SOCKS command actually sets the beacon sleep time to 0 to make it like seem interactive. Now, most applications are not actually proxy aware themselves. So we need a third-party tool to wrap around those apps to make them work through a proxy. The most popular one on Linux is proxy chains. And so if we wanted to run an Nmap scan of the internal network from the outside, we would say proxy chains Nmap and give it all the relevant options that we want. And away we go. Okay, so we can see some of them are open and we can also fingerprint them. This one is closed. I actually meant 5985 for WinRM, but never mind. We can still see that it works. Another great set of tools on Linux is the in-packet tools. And we can pivot all of those through proxy chains as well. So let's try Wimi exec. We know that bfarmer is a local admin on server 1. So we just enter the password. And now we have a semi-interactive shell on an internal machine from the outside. So that's super cool. You can also do it with Windows apps. So on the Windows machine, there is an application called Proxyfire. And the first thing we need to do is actually add a proxy server. So the address will be the Kali VM on port 1080, SOCKS 4. We can tick advanced and give it a label so we know what it is. So let's say, no, we don't want this to be the default one, but let's say, yes, we do want some proxy rules. So Proxyfire allows you to proxy applications on like these conditions. So let's just give this a rule, let's call it RTO. And let's choose 2 applications. So let's choose HeidiSQL as one. And then let's go and choose AD Explorer. And let's say we only want this to proxy when we're trying to target something on that internal network. And any port is fine. And the beacon proxy. And make sure enable's ticked. Okay. And okay. So let's first launch AD Explorer. So that's in SysInternal Suite. And now we can put the IP address of the dev domain controller, which is 1771. And we can give it any domain user cred, so let's use bfarmer again. And here you go. And you can see Proxyfire picking it up and pushing that traffic through the beacon. And now all of the domain information is in AD Explorer. Now, some tools like HiDSQL need to use the domain context of the process itself. They don't necessarily accept a username and password. So we can fiddle that by using run as net only. And then the application is HiDSQL. So we enter the password. And now HiDSQL is running on a Windows Dev machine as our local user. But then when it authenticates across the network through the proxy, it will use bfarmer's credentials. So let's say new SQL Server, and let's do 10.10.17.25, and say use Windows authentication, and open. Once again, you can see the traffic going through the beacon. And now we're connected to a SQL database inside the network from the outside. And you can issue queries against it. So let's do select server name. And there we go. Another thing you can pivot through without needing Proxyfire is a web browser. Okay, so that's nope. And I've already got an extension installed called Foxy Proxy. If you click that, we can say options and add. So here we can just say beacon. The type is SOX4, and the address is the Kali VM, and of course the port. Hit save. Okay, now let's enable Foxy Proxy and tell it to use this entry, and then give it an IP address of a machine on the internal network. Okay, and this application requires some credentials. Of course, let's just put bfarmer in. And there we go. We are now authenticated to an internal web app through a SOX proxy.